YouTube channel and welcome to nail school. I am so proud of you for clicking on today's video to expand your mindset, elevate your skills, and transform your life. If you guys are new here, my name is Kayllc and I have been a nail technician for the past 6 years and sharing my passion and love for nail artistry for the past 3 years. I started the nail school series so that way I can break down in very informational and insightful videos on how to create a full nail set, a full acrylic nail. This is our third part to the series, so check out the other videos over here. Make sure that you guys check out the last videos before watching this one so you guys fully know how to do it from the absolute beginning to now. So let's get ready to begin. Take out your pen and your notebooks so that way you can really drill it in your mind. It is scientifically proven that when you write something down as you're learning, your brain retains it even better. So take your notes, make it fun, make it exciting, get some colored pens, some highlighters, so that way your brain really remembers this all. So here I have Miss Sally. We named her Miss Sally the first ever group class that I've ever had 3 years ago, and it just stuck. Miss Sally here is absolutely great because she has no opinions, she doesn't complain, and she stays still. So I highly recommend you guys to get a practice hand, shop my Amazon storefront for all of my favorite beginner must-haves and everything that I use on there. It is so accessible, 1-day shipping, let's go. My nails are nicely prepped as well as tips applied and already shaped. Check out the last YouTube video. If you guys want an in-depth tutorial on tip shaping, let me know because I am the queen of shaping and I hold that title very, very highly. So anytime I do any group class, I like to explain to my learners that how I like to teach is broken up into 3 different segments. The first part is going to be theory. This is going to be the reading, the writing, hearing the information. After that is going to be demonstration, where all of your focus and your attention is on how I am doing it. Then we do one together with my guidance, but you doing hands-on practice. So that's how we're going to be splitting up today's segment video. I love to hit all intelligence learning methods when I teach my classes, so that way everybody with different type of learning styles really understands and comprehends what I'm saying. I also like to think of how do I learn, how do I retain information, and how I learn the best is through pictures. So let's open up our notebooks and pull out our pens. So I'm just going to push Miss Sally away, and I did want to let you guys know that Tashify Nails, the owner that hand makes these beautiful armrests, is actually holding a sale right now, a 1-year anniversary sale, and use my code Kayllc10 for some extra savings. I absolutely love my armrest. I've been having her for an entire year, has lasted me throughout a move, and so sturdy, so durable, so beautiful, very comfy, and it even helps with my posture. Check her out. In the last video of the nail school series, you guys did learn how to pick up 3 different size beads, a big, medium, and a small. Now, all those 3 are very vital when it comes to creating a nail set, hence the 3-bead method. Some beginners think that the small bead goes on the pinky and the big bead goes on the middle finger. In reality, we actually use all 3 beads, big, medium, and small, to form one nail. Essentially, what the 3-bead method helps you to do is to speed up your application process, which is usually the bulk time for a lot of beginner nail artists. It helps with your timing, it helps with not wasting product, and it helps you understand the proper structure for an acrylic nail. You don't have to follow this method, of course not, but it's proven to help you with successful acrylic application. And even though the 3-bead method is considered a beginner method, I even use it to this day. Helps me so much with, once again, my timing, saving product, and understanding the structure of the nail. Now, this is why I'm going to advise you to really practice and get down that movement on picking up an acrylic bead. When it comes to acrylic application, a lot of it also comes down to how confident are you feeling, how calm-minded are you going into this nail set. So tell yourself, I practiced, my hard work and my dedication is showing out, and I'm going to try my best to create the stunning nail. This does not come down to talent or to passion. This comes down to those that continue to practice even after they fail. Your first nail is not going to look good. Trust me, it's not going to look good. And if it does, amazing! You can only keep going up from here. Okay, so you're gonna tell a difference between your first nail versus your 4th nail. And now imagine the difference between your first nail versus your 4th nail set. It's going to just be a continually improving as long as you continually and consistently practice. Loves, let's get into some notes. I'm going to be using my iPad here so that way I can visually show you guys what I mean before I demo on Miss Sally here. So we're going to be learning the 3 bead method. I definitely need to get an Apple Pen, but no excuses. You don't need an iPad. Simply anything that writes is totally good. Don't mind my handwriting. I have quite horrible handwriting, especially for a nail tech. Here I am drawing just a really big nail. This is the free edge, the side walls, the cuticle, and back down the side walls. This here is going to represent our natural nail. This here, right here, where the nail and the nail tip meet, is called position stop. If you guys look back on my prep videos, when you apply the tips, you position, rock, and hold. That's how you remember this. So that way you guys can really understand. We did this part right here as a natural nail and this part down here as the tip. So we're going to break down the 3 bead method. The first bead is going to be overlapping your position stop where the nail and the nail tip meet. This is going to be your big bead. As soon as you place your bead, you're going to wipe your brush to get rid of any residue. This will make sense more once I demonstrate and once you do it. But for now, let's just keep our eyes and ears open. As soon as you wipe your brush, you're going to be tucking that acrylic more towards the center. The center as in the center down the middle. When you look at a nail forward, how you want the nail to look is a nice dome shape. That is why we push our product towards the center, so that way down the middle of the nail, the product is more higher on top. This will give us a nice good structure for our nail. With the belly of your brush, you're going to tuck the product in towards the center, making sure that the side walls are covered. As soon as you tuck them in, we're going to start to bring her down, pat her down. As soon as you bring her down, you're gonna keep tucking her in, and then patting down, tucking her in, bringing it down, all the way until the bottom. You want this first bead to cover the entire nail tip. If you find that you cannot bring this bead all the way down, then start in the middle and same thing, bring it down. And this one is our big first bead and it covers the nail tip. Before I move on, I'm going to demonstrate this part for you guys, so that way it's easy to understand all the steps. Using the same products from my acrylic bead ratio video. The last video is where I go in depth on how to pick up the proper acrylic bead all the way from start to finish. So let's pick up a big bead. When I hold the nail, I like to have the nail pointed downward. So that way when we place the bead, gravity does a lot of the work for us by guiding that product down. Bounce and dance 2 times. I'm going to place the bead on the position stop. As soon as I place the bead, I'm going to softly wipe my brush. I'm going to push the product towards the center, rotating the acrylic, the belly of my brush. As soon as I put it in towards the center, I'm going to tap and bring her down. Sides, bring her down. As soon as it covers the entire nail tip, I'm going to then take my brush flat to the nail and with slight pressure going to smooth out this entire nail. And I like to square off my nail tip by removing this extra product on the bottom. Do not touch the acrylic. Let the brush get rid of that product. I'm gonna clean up my sides and smooth it down. I'm telling you guys, you will be ahead of the game once you practice your beads and the proper consistency and ratio for it. Because you guys saw that I was able to calmly work with my product. I can still move her around, but yet it still keeps its form. So looking at this first bead, I'm looking that my side walls are all fully covered. I'm also looking at the structure of my nail by looking at it straight forward. This is one of the best ways to see the structure of the nail. And I want it to be as even and smooth as possible. I personally do not like when my nail tip curves downward, so that way we avoid the old school curved nails. So I'm going to demo this first bead another time, so that way you guys can fully understand. Point the finger downward. Going to pick up a big bead. As soon as I place my bead, I'm going to wipe my brush, tuck the product in, and bring her down. Tuck the product in, and bring her down. And you just keep doing that until you bring this bead all the way down. Once it reaches the bottom, this is when you can softly, with slight pressure, smooth out the entire nail by keeping your brush flat to the nail. We're sculpting a nail, we're not painting, so you don't want to paint this product off. Once the nail is covered and smooth, I square off the nail tip by getting rid of the product. Squaring off the nail tip means this entire tip right here is nice and squared off, so that way you keep the shape of your square nail perfectly crisp. Some common mistakes that I see beginners make. Let's say place the bead, and because there's still product on your brush, when you're working with it, the product ends up sticking onto your brush even more. That's why you wipe as soon as you lay it down. Another thing I get is as soon as beginners place and release their bead, they want to right away swipe down. When you right away swipe down, you get rid of all that beautiful product that you just laid, that you work very hard to pick up. So don't go in straight into wiping and wiping and wiping. You want to use the belly of your brush to pat, to rotate this product in towards the center. Rotate the product in and bring it down. Another common mistake that I see beginners make is working with the tip of the brush. The tip of the brush is not really going to do much for you, especially when it comes to patting. It's going to create all these indentations. That is why we work with the brush as flat to the nail as possible. You're going to find that in nail world, everything as flat to the nail as possible, the better. The flatter you lay the nail tip onto the nail bed, the more secure they are. The flatter you lay your bit on the nail, the smoother it is. The flatter you lay your brush to the nail, the more seamless and easy application you get. So now these are the big beads. The entire nail tip should be covered. Let's go into theory work about our next bead. So with the second bead, it is going to be your apex bead. The apex is the highest point of the nail. That is going to be the highest point of the nail. When you look at a nail sideways, this is the sidewall, the cuticle, the apex, and the tip. We're going to be building this part right here, the highest point of the nail. How do you know where to place your apex, you might ask? When you apply a nail tip and when you push down, that white area on your nail is going to be the area of the nail that absorbs the most shock when you hit that nail or when it bumps on something. The part that's still pink up here is going to be more your cuticle bead. Absorbs the most shock, which is why it needs to be just slightly thicker. If it's too thin, then it can snap right there. That's why we need to add some structure onto the nail. It is the apex, medium second. This tells you that it's for the apex, it's a medium size, it's your second bead that you use. So now with the second bead, let's go into the blue. We're going to place this bead where that pressure point is on our nails. So about 2/3 up of the natural nail. We're going to place it right above that previous bead because now we're slowly adding product. We're building the nail now more. As we add it to the top, as soon as we place it, wipe our brush. I'm gonna take a dark blue color. Same thing as the big bead, tuck in our sides so that way we get a nice structured nail. And with your brush flat, using the tip of the brush, we're going to softly blend the edge of the bottom bead, just this part, down to the previous bead, so that way it's a nice blend. With our big bead, our first bead, we pointed the nail down, so that way most of that product goes downward. If we were to do the same for the apex bead, most of that product that we work hard to put up here is going to be blending down, which is why you want to place it a little bit more horizontal. But by placing it horizontal, you also risk it going to the sides, which is why you want to ensure that you bring the product back up towards the center. Let's pick up a medium bead. Going to place my bead right above that previous bead. As soon as I release, I'm going to wipe my brush. I'm going to push this product, rotate it towards the center. And now since we're touching the sidewalls, you want to make sure that these sidewalls are nicely tucked. Now we're going to blend the edge of that bead with the tip of our brush flat. You're going to lay the brush flat to the nail and using the belly and the tip of your brush. I'm not swiping it with hard pressure. Guys, my Sally's a little annoying and my nail's about to pop off. Since we blended 2 beads together, there may be a tiny separation in between the 2 beads. We can always file that. I personally like to have a good application, so I take the tiniest bit of acrylic, place it where it needs to be blended. I like to flip my brush over to blend up and blend down. Everything in nail world always has a solution. If there's a little divot, just add some product. If you added a little too much, just file it off. Do not overstress this. Looking at it from the side, I'm starting to build this apex and add structure to my nail. Look at it straight forward so that way you can really see if there's any indentations or anything like that. Looking at it straight forward, can you guys see how there's like a small divot right there in that separation? There's like a divot. So that's how you can really see where your nail needs a little bit more structure. So now I can see, okay, it needs a little bit more. And now I have a beautiful nail forming. Beautiful. Let's show that one more time. I'm going to place my product. As soon as I place, I'm going to wipe my brush. I'm going to push this product in towards the center, tucking in my side walls, rotating this product towards the center, making sure my side walls are nice and tucked. And then I'm going to feather this product down to the previous bead with my brush as flat to the nail as possible. There's a little indentation right there, so I'm going to fix it now before I continue to proceed more. Looking at this product to the side, it's looking a little bit thin for my liking. It's not as much structure. Placing it right above that bead to add more structure. As soon as I place it, I wipe my brush. I'm gonna rotate my product. My side walls are nice and tucked. Rotating this product and making sure that the sides are tucked. And then feathering this baby down with your brush flat and light pressure. And I'm looking the nail at all angles now. And now I'm starting to like this beautiful structure that's happening. You don't want your nail too thick, but you want it to have good structure to where if she was to accidentally hit her nail, then they're doable, they're durable, they last. How our beautiful nails are looking. Let's move on to the last part. Now let's do our cuticle bead. This is getting very insightful, so I'm going to explain this as best as possible. This right here, up here, is going to be our live skin right here. When you think of the nail, I want you to think of the natural nail here as being your foundation, your base. If there's anything flooded around your natural base foundation, if there's anything flooded around, it's going to cause lifting. I want you to think of this very small sliver up here. I want you to think of this area around here that must be completely flush on the nail. The area right here should have no product. The product on top of the nail is going to be flush. So that way it looks like it's growing out of the nail. So that way it doesn't look like it's just product on there. It looks like it's growing out of the nail. So try to get that visual as this is your foundation. Do not flood this. This is like the super most important part, because if you flood this, then you get lifting. If you get lifting, you can't price your nails that high. You won't have returning clients. So this is the part that I want you guys to practice on yourself, on real people as much as possible. Miss Sally here does give us nice good practice, but it doesn't correlate to having flesh and skin around the nail. You don't want this skin, this cuticle all up here to have product at all. Must be just on the nail, just on the nail. Just like a 5-year-old coloring within the lines. I do not want you guys to flood this area at all, okay? So that is why we're going to go back from it being horizontal, our nail, to pointing it downward. By pointing it downward, the most of the product is going to go down instead of back up. You do not want it to touch the around area at all. So we're gonna point it downward. It's just super important that you guys master this part for sure. So when it comes to a cuticle bead, I'm gonna use the color green. When you place the cuticle bead, you're gonna place it below the eponychium, the live skin, the top of the nail plate. We're gonna place it overlapping this previous bead, but away from the cuticle. Then you're gonna walk the product up to the right, walk the product up to the left, and walk it up the middle. We're not gonna stab it upward, We're just gonna simply guide the product up. I'm gonna use a different color. We're gonna flush this product around the natural cuticle. Flushing it with the tip of our brush. We're gonna guide the product up, guide it up, guide it up. Then we're gonna flush, flush, flush. Not touching the live skin, but touching the product on here. Flush, 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 flush. We're gonna flush it. So that way it looks like it's growing out of the nail. So that way there's no gap between acrylic and the nail. Then you can blend it downward to the previous bead. You see guys, if anybody tells you a nail technician is not a real job, what do you call this? I want you guys to pay very close attention. We're gonna burp our brush and pick up a small bead. As soon as you place your bead right above that previous bead, point the finger down. Softly wipe your brush. We're going to guide this product up towards the cuticle, not stabbing it now, just guiding it upward. As soon as it reaches the top of the nail plate, then I'm going to take the tip of my brush and flush this product onto the natural nail. There must be no separation between acrylic and nail. Then with my brush flat, I'm going to blend this to the previous bead. I want your guys' cuticles to look so freaking good, guys, okay? Like, this is the most important bead because this is what's going to define quality nails over average nails. You want this product to be super flush. You want this product to be super flush on the nail plate, so that way when the nail grows out, it all grows out evenly and seamless and good. And this is when you can turn the nail and see if she's missing anything. There's just the tiniest little sliver of divot right there, so I'm going to just ever so slightly blend that product. Especially on the side walls where you may have missed some product on that position stop, you can add like a dust of acrylic right on there to ensure that your nail is fully covered. This is exactly the structure that I want for my nail. My cuticle is nice and flush. My apex is nice and there. My tip is slightly going down, but not curving all the way down. So just make sure that you look at your nail from all angles, all sides, to make sure that you really like her. Let's go over that one more time. Going to point the nail downward, so that way that product doesn't flood the cuticle. I'm going to place it. As soon as I place it, softly swipe your brush. You're gonna walk this product up to the right until it almost meets the top of the nail, until it almost meets the top. Then we're going to take the tip of our brush and flush this product onto the nail to ensure that it is nicely covered. And then feather this product down. And there you have your seamless cuticle bead. And there you have your beautiful acrylic application, your 3 bead method. Now, even though it's a 3 bead method, we used more than just 3 beads. We used like what, 7 beads on this one. Essentially, the theory is you're working down and then going up, working down and then going up, working down and then going up. We don't start at the cuticle and then bring it down. We do not believe in the 1 bead method here. We're gonna break it down so that way each of our nails are as seamless and beautiful as possible. Now when it comes to shaping and filing, this is going to go like a breeze so fast because we took the time to understand how to build the structure of our nail so that way we don't have to overfile. And there you guys have the 3 bead method. The next steps from here are to practice, consistently practice. Take out Miss Sally and practice some acrylic nails using the 3 bead method. I want to deeply share my gratitude and appreciation for you guys for joining today's nail school series. I wish you happy practicing, and if nobody has told you today, I love you so much. And I'm so proud of you for showing up for yourself, for believing in yourself and your potential, and daring to dream beyond what you thought is possible.